Thank you very much. Aurora, Sage, come on up here.
You who do not remember, passage from the outer world. I tell you I could speak again. Whatever returns from oblivion returns to find a voice. Louise Gluck, The Wild Iris. This verse of poetry was quoted in a book called How the Light Gets In, written by Pat Schneider, that I first read about 2 years ago. The book was very important to me at the time, so when Reverend Annette asked me to speak about inspiration, I picked it back up to remember what I found there. The book's primary focus is to serve as a guide towards using writing as a spiritual practice. But I believe the book's wisdom can have broader applications for any spiritual seeker or self-healer. Most people, when they think of what inspires them, may think of something that brings them joy, that brightens up their day. It could be nature or a favorite verse of scripture. It could be stories, real or fictional, of individuals triumphing over long odds. You may think of motivational sayings or posters. Alternatively, you may find such things tedious or annoying if you do not get to choose the decor. Reading or hearing about the inspiring acts of others may uplift you, may help you find the courage to do what it is you want to do. But I do not believe this is what truly helps you find those things you must do. Mrs. Schneider and I came to a very different understanding of inspiration, where it can come from and where it leads us to. I believe that what is truly inspiring is a special sort of awareness that something as it is unfinished in some way. This can look like many different things to many different people. An artistic person exploring an array of art supplies and other objects may come across something that immediately strikes them in an unusual way, and that artist may feel driven to incorporate that object into a piece. This was the case for me when I discovered the large decorative eye on the painting I've placed on the stage. As soon as I saw it, I immediately imagined it wreathed in flame and peering out from the darkness. This vision was so powerful that I could not get it out of my head until I created it myself to the best of my ability. This is the simplest version of what I'm talking about. It can look like many other things to many other people. But this simple thing is simply seeing an object or a space and imagining how it could be used in a novel way. For me, that eye was unfinished until I placed it into a work of art. But this looks like many different things. In 1960, following the death of his wife, a laborer in the remote Indian village of Gilar began an ambitious project. He began to dig a road from his remote village to the nearest village with a hospital. He was a poor man. His name was Deshrath Manji, and so he began his project with only hand tools, digging through the tough, unforgiving mountains of his homeland. His fellow villagers mocked him at first. They believed he was mad with grief and that he would soon give up or be overcome by the difficulty of his work. They would in time come to recognize him for his bravery and his strength, and they lent him what aid they could. Deshrath's road took 22 years to build. 22 years to answer something that felt wrong. 22 years to create a road in the hopes that none of his fellow villagers need die a needless death again. This is the kind of inspiration I'm talking about. The determination to do something new, something that seems mad, because it is something you sense needs to be done. Every civil rights leader in history has looked around at their society and their world and said to themselves, we can do better. We must do better. And they have fought with the passion of a man digging through a mountain to bring that vision to life. Writers and other creators also may work from a place of incompleteness. Many times I have attempted to write something. I wrote because I believed it was a noble thing to want to write. I believed that I could be good as a writer because my parents were writers. But I often struggled. I struggled to find meaning or purpose in my work. And I often left my projects unfinished because I was unable or unwilling to find a reason to continue pushing through something that did not speak to my heart. In the fall of 2021, I began a different sort of writing. I had found a character in a story that I felt a strong connection to, one that would not leave me alone. And yet, while I loved this character, I hated the story they were used to tell. There were a minor character in a much larger story, and their part in the tale was deeply tragic and written from a place of ignorance. I wanted the character to have a different kind of story. I wanted them to learn a different kind of lesson and to find a fate different than the one given them by the original writer. This need to create a new story for this character I felt a connection to would not leave me alone, and so I eventually began to write this character's story as I saw it. I've been working on this story now for over a year, and it is finally nearing its end. It is the most powerful story I have yet put to type. It has driven me to tears countless times in the telling of it. I found the strength to share it, both with friends and somewhere it could be seen and critiqued by strangers. It is a story I will never be able to sell because I do not own the characters. But the writing of it forced me to grow as a writer. The need to see it finished has kept me going through those times I would have given up on a less inspired project. And the writing of it has helped me to heal. It has forced me to confront my shame, the dark, damaged parts of myself, and drag them out to be loved and accepted. Because inspiration, that awareness of something that is unfinished, that call to act towards its completion, is not truly about changing the outside world to make it fit our vision. The true act of inspiration is to find the strength to heal oneself, to answer a soul-deep need that has gone unfulfilled, and find what you are crying out for, that you are not finished without. Deshrath Manji, the mountain man, his road was his answer to unbearable grief. The call for civil rights is an answer to unforgivable cruelty. And the artist's greatest work is to make something unique and sublime out of their own shattered heart. In Unity, we are taught that we are wholly divine and wholly human, that this world is a part of God's creation, and it is thus also divine. This may seem to be at odds with my idea of inspiration. How can we find the broken and damaged parts of ourselves to heal if we are not truly broken or damaged? I believe this very paradox is what creates the miracle of inspiration. It is the dance between our divine selves and our human selves seeking to be healed. Inspiration is how we create our way out of grief, how we heal ourselves out of pain, how we forgive, and how we create our way out of lack. Finding this type of inspiration is no easy task because it is not simply a matter of reading the right books or going to the right talks. In order to find this kind of inspiration, you must dive into the depths of your own psyche, your own heart and soul, and you must be truly, brutally honest with yourself. You must see the deepest wounds you are carrying and ask yourself what I can do to heal this. I have focused so far in this talk largely on creatives, artists, writers, as well as justice seekers such as Deschroth or others, or civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King. But this lesson is for everyone. Your answer to your sense of incompleteness need not look like a piece of art or a story or a political legacy. It can be in the way you treat your children. It can be in the way you treat your neighbors. It may be the reason you find the work you do important. It may be in the pursuit of a hobby that you were told as a child that you could not do or was a waste of time. It can look like acts of charity or love that you do to build up others who may have been hurt in a way that is similar to your own. Whatever you do that answers your own need for healing, it is inspirational and it is important. But to find these inspiring things, these actions that drive us forward, requires us to be aware and to search. Inspiration comes in a moment that bypasses the thinking mind entirely, that strikes deeper at our needs to create and heal. It is not a matter of thinking our way towards these moments, but I do believe inspiration can be cultivated. Like prayer, it requires openness and honesty. Divine mystery exists all around us, and it is up to us to open ourselves to that channel. This courage can be very daunting. If you search your soul, you may find yourself facing things that you are not yet ready to face, that you wish to deny the existence of. But these things are likely the very things you most need to see. When you dive into your psyche, you may be hoping to find a gentle kitten to play with, but in all likelihood, you will find a tiger, and the tiger is what you need to work with. Just remember that whatever you do with your inspiration, you must do it for yourself first. If it is too painful to share, you do not need to share it. And if you do share it, you do not need to explain the meaning. It is the doing of it that is important. But once you have found your path, your inspiration, the next thing you must do is find the courage to walk towards that path with trust and faith. The acts demanded of our inspiration will often seem too large and too difficult for us. That is the point. We must grow into our inspiration in order to meet these deep-seated needs. You need to trust in whatever skills you currently possess and know that you will find the others. Trust in your own willpower, your own strength, your own courage, and pursue that vision, and you can find that which you believe you lack. When I began writing this story that is so important to me, I had never written anything like it before. I could not see every part of it clearly, and I am not the type of writer who can plan out every aspect of a story before I begin. If I did that, I would have never started. But I stepped forward in faith anyway. With a story like this, if I wasn't able to bring things together in the end, it would have collapsed like a house of cards. I kept putting one word after the other. I would discover what I need to complete the project within the web of mystery I was building, and it worked. I could not be happier with how things have come together, how the characters have spoken through me, building on the thin outline I built for them. This is what acting on your inspiration looks like. It's starting with the tools that you have and the strengths that you have, and knowing that you will find others along the way. You need hold that central vision in your heart and refuse to give up on it. This is not to say that it is always hard work to chase your inspiration. A certain playfulness is required when working with inner mystery. There is a paragraph in Ms. Schneider's book that I liked so much, I am going to quote it verbatim. So also there is a time for letting go, for utter relinquishment of control, for free fall. And that experience is ecstatic or terrifying, or both at the same time. Whether we come to it through writing or through ritual or through private or public spiritual experience, it is at the heart of creativity. It is at the heart of human spirituality. And it takes as many forms as there are persons. Certainly, when Deshrath Manji began building his road, people thought he was an impossible lunatic. Acting on your inspiration may lead others to believe that there is something wrong with you. But do not let them sway you from your truest path. What you do to heal yourself is of the utmost importance, whatever it looks like, as long as it harms no one. Finding this new inspiration or this new wound to heal can begin now, in a moment of peace, in a moment of quiet. I invite you now to turn inwards in meditation. Let go of your daily concerns. Let go of the need to please others, to be what others expect or want you to be. Remember that you are safe as you enter the quiet, and that whatever comes up, it does not have the power to hurt you. You need not condemn yourself or your wound, whatever it looks like. We accept who we are. We look our pain square in the face and ask ourselves, what must be done? What is the first step? And I trust that I will be guided to the next step. Take some time now to speak with the inner voice. Know that whatever you felt during these few minutes It is for you to decide what to do with it. Know that you are loved and that your journey in this life is important and valuable. I began this talk with a poetic verse, one that I believe strikes right at the heart of this lesson. I believe there is a voice inside everyone that has something it came into this world to say, but that voice is often buried or drowned out by the cacophony of daily life, by doing our best to belong, to fit in, and to meet our survival needs. But the silencing of our deepest needs wounds us and damages us. When we turn to those wounds and we love ourselves through them and begin to heal, we find our buried voices and bring forth that which was truly ours to do. It is through those cracks in ourselves that the light gets in. Thank you.